Good evening, good morning. Whenever you're watching this, welcome to the Voice Spotlight. I finally got my little brother on here. I've been wanting to get him on for a while, but I definitely want to get him on before his ordination, which, depending on when this goes out, will be in a day or so or the same day. But how are you, bro?
I can't complain, man. I feel good.
Good.
How are you?
Not bad. It's been a busy day, but hey, God is good. So,
Salute.
we do what we got to do.
Always.
So, I took a little shift in some of the questions I give you, and I hope they come off in sort of chronological order, but we're going to go on.
Absolutely.
So, you fill a lot of roles. Your brother, you are a father, you're a husband, you're a minister, and you bring the spoken word. So, if you were to look at all the roles that you fulfill right now, and this will have twofold, it'll fall in later, but of all the roles that you have right now, which one do you find the most challenging?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, Probably being a father. I never had a blueprint for that. And it's something that even if I did have a blueprint, it doesn't matter how our parents raise us. Our children are different. The time that they're living in is different. My wife and I have an amazing partner, and my wife, but learning your child, their likes, their dislikes, and the things that they go through it's an amazing challenge. But that's one of the things I thank God for. Children are a gift from God, and I thank God for the patience that He's given me to be able to sit and listen to my children to better understand them. But it's definitely been challenging being a father.
I know you're transparent with everything that you do, and I probably haven't said it much, probably on some little occasions, but I look how you are with your kids, and I see how you are with my nephew, little Mishan. Um, but I even noticed on Sunday, during when Kalia came up, you gave her the biggest of hugs, and it just, just lights, she just lights up when that happens. So you're right, there's no blueprint for being a father. And talking to my youngest son, um, I listened to him tell me some of the things that I've done and have been. And I mean, sometimes I guess the brain blots some stuff out, but it's
Absolutely.
all good. We're good now. All right, so I'm going to ask another question from observations that I see, and you have a gift of dealing with people. Um, I look at you, and you leave no one out. You make everyone feel special. So I guess my question to that is, has it always been that, or is this something that you've developed over time?
It's the Sharon the Noble in me. I remember growing up, and we didn't have much, but everything that we had, my mother was willing to share. And she always explained to me that there's going to be some people that you come across that have a lot, and some people have a little, and some people don't have much at all. But every one of those individuals has one thing in common. They all want respect, they all want love, and they all want it to be genuine. So growing up, I just made sure that from the door, everybody had respect from me. Everybody had love from me. Now, I know as a man, we view things differently. No man can tell another man how to be a man. But I tell you this, it's up to you to lose my respect. You have my respect from the door. My hand is extended, my heart is open, conversation, whatever you need from the door. Now, over time, that relationship can either build or be destroyed by things that I promise won't be of my own doing. And if there are of my own doing, I'm willing to say, hey, I apologize. It's my fault. But growing up, my mom instilled in me that you treat every single person you come across with respect, decency, and love, and to let it be genuine from your heart. So I've always been able to walk up to strangers in open conversation and just extend a piece of myself because I would want the same.
Yeah, I see that almost any time we're together because there's actually only been a few times that we've been together when it's been just you and I, or you and Key with me and Panetta. So, but most of the time we're together, we are surrounded by people, or we are interacting with other people, and I see how you are with them. Um, and your mother, she should be commended because she raised a fantastic young man. I mean, when we met, it was just like click, it was just
Yeah,
there.
my God.
So, and I am not one of the people that are that open. I am respectful, but I'm always watching, and it could be me from where I came from. Definitely my government um, training or environment that I've been in. I'm always watching and looking. But for us, I mean, it was like almost instantaneous, and I think maybe I just saw a kindred spirit, and it just made a connection from there. So yeah, your mom needs to be commended.
I thank God for my mother, man.
Yeah, yeah, she's an amazing woman for raising you and for the things that she's done. Yeah, she is. She is. And I know that you always gives her respect. And that is something that is it's not rare in today's day, but it is, I guess. It ain't like it used to be. It ain't like it used to be. So we're gonna go with roles. I started this about roles. Um, so 2 Sundays ago, you spoke at our youth Sunday, and during your speaking with the young adults, which again that goes back to who you are and the way you interface with them. But you brought up something that I wish I had knew you were going to bring up, and you brought up Batman and Bruce Wayne and the relationship between the two of them, that alter ego. Um, I'm a comic book guy, so I should have been ready if I knew I would have threw Batman up there. Um, and depending on who the writer is, some people say that Batman is the real person and Bruce Wayne is the alter
I've
ego.
heard that. Yes, sir.
So you have an alter ego too, Sincere,
Mm.
and we've all been at VLF. Most of us have been privileged to see Sincere and hear Sincere. Um, but like a comic book hero, there's an origin. Tell us where Sincere came from.
It's ironic. And the craziest part, right? So the cat's out the bag, and I'm gonna answer this for you. And since you asked me that question, I was young, and my uncle is from New York. One of my biggest influences in my life is my uncle Alex Carter. Um, all I say about Alex Carter is if you know, you know. He had tough upbringing, and he's in the street life, but he's a man of morals, values, and principles, and he's taught me so much about being outside and how to move and maneuver as a man throughout this world. But a movie came out, you might be familiar with it in the 90s. It was called Belly. And um he always told me I was an old soul. And out of all my cousins, who were out there with him, he didn't see the same for me. And I would always come to him and ask him questions that he couldn't answer because he said I was always light years ahead of the questions that my cousins would ask. And when that movie came out, he said, "That's you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's a character that Nas plays in the movie. Um, Nas, is surrounded by a bunch of street dudes, and he gets his hand dirty a bit, but he saw a way out, and he saw a higher position for himself and his family later on in life. He wanted to move to Africa. He wanted to question why he was in the situation that he was in and why he was going through things. And he was ready to get out of the life. And he was like, you know what? From here on, I'm gonna start calling you Sincere. And he called me Sincere. And as I was rapping, because we also formed a little rap group, my cousins and I and him, they would call me Young Sin, and it stuck. And you know, anytime you young, once you get a little hair on your chest and you grow up, you don't want that young associated with your name any longer. So I went from Young Sin to just calling myself Sincere because it's always been a nickname that my uncle's given me and all my family's called me on one side of the family. So it just stuck. And as I grew older, I appreciated it more, not so for the movie and the character, but for my words being genuine from my heart. So what God used as a nickname, he also allowed it to be meaningful to me in the fact that everything that I write down right now in my life and this at this facet of my life has a meaning, a message, and a purpose. Right? I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for those individuals who come from places in which I come from. And when I say, I've come a long way. I thank God for being there with me every step of the way. I got this out the mud. Everything that I've earned in life, I fought tooth and nail for. So when I speak in my music, I'm speaking to the individual that I see in similar situations that might have that mindset of better and wanting better, but don't see a better. And I have to be that voice to say, look, man, it's another way. It's grass on the other side of that concrete. You just got to hop the fence. And this is how you do it, right?
Right. So thanks for letting me in on it and through
Absolutely.
me everybody else. But
Yeah.
um um I guess some people see and it just is. But there's a reason behind everything. And now I know. And that's really good. That's really good. So we're going to continue here.
Mhm.
Both of us have had a long day, but we're going to do what we got to do.
Absolutely.
Um, so I see how you are again about young men
Mhm.
to the point that you've been leading the charge in our mentorship of young men at Deep Creek Middle School in Essex. Um, so in effect, and we'll get away from the minister, let's go toward the mentor. Um, you've chosen to be a mentor to young men. I see how you are with your son, and I see how you are with young men, period. But I see how you are with people older than you. You can talk with them. But let's talk about talking to the younger men. Um, did you choose to be a mentor, or did it just happen?
Um, I would say it just happened. Your weapon of choice, in life is forged through fire, right? Um, my testimony is not having a father and having to overcome certain things and certain obstacles without those conversations and without that guidance on certain hurdles in life. But I had two uncles step in. One was in the streets and one was into computers and technology. And I was able to take a blend of both of them and apply it to my life, and God was ever so present where he kept me. I would be lying if I said I never had my hands dirty, right? I've done some things in life, but he kept me and he got me to a point where it just clicked and was like, you know what? One guy's in the streets and has to watch over his shoulder. One guy sitting comfortable in the comfort of his own home, playing video games, retired, getting a check and doing the things that he loves. I think I'm gonna go this way, right? But all of us have it has to click for all of us. The thing with being a mentor is that without those two men in my life pouring into me, I don't know where I would be. Therefore, that I know that there's going to be a group of young men who don't have a uncle, a cousin, a brother, a father who's going to pour into them the positivity that they need to grow and be nurtured, right? We speak of the enemy all the time. The enemy is searching. He literally seeks to destroy. Therefore, that if I can step in before he gets his hands on them, I plant the seed. Like, look, man, whatever it is that you need, I might not have all the answers, but I promise you, I will sit down with you and we can try to find them together because these children are dying at an alarming rate. I can't speak for all my brothers. There's a lot of great men out there. My brother Russell, who has his Bridging the Gap. You have Christian Johnson, Reverend Christian Johnson, who has I'm forgetting the name right now, but he's doing an amazing job over there, General John Stricker. And it's just um, honestly, I thank my pastor. I thank my brother Philip A. Miller Sr. for seeing it not robbery for asking me to do this, right? It was presented with him, to bring something like this to the school from VLF. And he called me one night and we had a meeting with myself and Miss Aretha and Pastor. And from there, I was just like, listen, whatever you need from me, whatever you want me to do, I will do it. Because I look back on my own life, right? I look at those moments where, mom's not home. I could be getting in trouble right now, but my uncle came to pick me up, right? And we going to amusement parks or going fishing. And then one week, the other uncle's picking me up. And we playing video games and going traveling and going to comic book stores, right? So I know for a fact that God told me, whispered in my ear as a young boy, that one day everything that you're learning is going to have purpose and meaning because you can now relate to the young man that's in the street and you can relate to the young man who loves comic books. But you got to be able to bring them both together and let them both know that they love, they care for, and there's a better situation for them if they just hold their head. Yeah, God put me in this position. I didn't choose it.
Yeah, I see he actually put you in a position because you started this before you actually moved. Now you're within walking distance of
That's crazy.
Deep Creek Middle School. So uh,
That's
somebody
crazy.
needs you, you don't even have to drive. You can just walk over. So
See how he moves?
it is. I'm seeing it. So you minister to so many people. I've seen it. Um, how do you minister to yourself?
Hmm, that's a great question. Um, I didn't grow up in church. Never had a church background. And I tell people all the time, it's challenging for me, right? Um, our DNA, our makeup, things that we just are. My mom instilled in me at a young age, though we weren't going to church, every single day she taught me the value of a relationship with Jesus Christ. She taught me about the Trinity. She taught me about faith. And not only did she teach me about faith, she showed me. She said little things like, me, Sean, when you open up the refrigerator, you should say thank you because God did that. Everything that she gave me at a young age, it was instilled into my DNA. So now that I'm growing up and I'm in ministry, I look at things differently than a lot of people because it's hard for me to question faith. It's hard for me to go against what I believe. And I believe that God is going to pull me out of every single situation because I've seen it before. I've seen worse, right? We were homeless at one time. Mother had me at 14, brought me home on her 15th birthday. We struggled. And I've been blessed and cursed with this extraordinary long-term memory where I remember a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't. But I minister to myself by just going through those memories. Mishan, you remember what a syrup sandwich tastes like. You remember coming in the house and ain't nothing in the fridge. You drink a little sugar water, you drink a little syrup, you get a little syrup sandwich, some oodles and noodles or something like that. Boy, you throw the egg in it, you good, right?
Right, right.
And a lot of us, not just African Americans, but those who come from poverty, they know the story, they know the struggle, but we survived that. So being able to survive those things, oh man, there's nothing that you can throw my way today that's going to move me off of my block. I know for a fact that God has me. So when I minister to myself, I'm reading my word and I'm looking back on where he's already brought me from. I've come far. I've come really, really far. I never say I'm proud of myself, But as I prepare for ordination and started reading actually what ordination truly means and represents, I thank God first and foremost, but I'm proud of myself, man.
And you
Pastor,
should be. And
it's
you should be. I see such a light with you and how you effortlessly move through
it's one.
people and like I say, I've seen you walk from the church, from the front of the church to the back of the church, not missing anybody. I see people stand up before you get there because they know that warm hug is coming. So, I mean, it's you give love, you give respect, you get respect. And that is that's a gift, that's a superpower.
Hmm,
Um,
funny.
yeah, it is. So early on, I used the word challenging. You just used the word challenging, and you just used the word faith.
Mhm.
So, in your faith walk, what has been the most challenging thing in your faith walk?
Sheesh. There's been some roadblocks, but losing losing my daughter's mom had me asking questions that I never asked before, right? And I know God's plan is perfect, right? He doesn't make any mistakes. It's just sometimes the lesson in which we need to learn, we don't we're not prepared to ask the questions to study for them. So I don't know what I'm supposed to get out of this because I'm still in it, right? People who say, "Oh man, you don't love her no more. You with your wife." I've never listen. There's no woman in this world that is my wife. I love my wife to death, but it's not that type of love. This is a woman I had a child with who, at one time I was, in love with, but we grew apart into great different situations. She was married, so God bless, her family and her children. But this woman has been a great mother to my child, right? And my heart is bleeding for my child, sitting thinking about the immense pain. I can't imagine losing my mom, and I'm 40, right? To lose your mom at 16 years old, it has to be earth shattering. And right now, I'm asking all the questions. What's really keeping me all together, besides my wife, and God's grace and mercy, my daughter is so strong, man. My daughter's so strong. The day I seen her, she actually, she said, "Daddy, my mommy," and that got me. It choked me up. I started to tear up, but when I started to tear up, she just grabbed me, started to rub my back, and told me it's gonna be okay. And from then on, I've been pressing through. I have great people around me. Yourself, had pastor, first lady, my wife. My wife has been there for me. My rock, brother Antoine, Ty Gibson. So many different people have reached out and been there for me. But this has been really, really difficult because I start randomly just thinking about her family, just randomly, just thinking about next year my daughter, who's been an honor roll student since she's been in school. She's going to walk across the stage and graduate next year, and her mom's not going to be there. So it's really, really tough. And these are things that plague me, but I can't do anything but take it to God, have faith in Him, and trust that all this has meaning and purpose, and that it's going to drive and strengthen my daughter, and her children, and her family. But God bless Natasha.
So again, that's a testament to who you are, um, and how you um, feel the pain of the loss, and definitely your daughter. Um, there was a time in my life that I would not go to homegoing or funeral services, not because I was tearing up, but I saw people that I loved or that I care about tear up. And it's no matter what somebody can say is I know what you're going through. You can't. No, you don't. I can't. I try not to say that to anybody, and it comes up, but I stop it before
Mhm.
it comes out because I don't know that the pain that you're going through. I
Yep.
don't know, your loss for whoever it is, and it can be the loss of, and fur babies, you
Yeah.
know. you can't not, or you can't fit into the shoes of the person that you're talking with at the time. So, um, yeah, it's a
Miss my
big thing.
dog. I miss my dog daily.
Yeah, I do understand that. Yeah. Um, and they become family. They become family. So, all right. So you mentioned your ordination, and my goal for this week is definitely having this out before your actual ordination. But on the let's just say on the eve, this is the week leading up. It's we're meeting on Monday, and we'll get this out definitely before Friday. But on the eve of your ordination, um, how are you feeling?
I feel blessed. Um, this and be mindful. Like anybody who knows me, um, my beginnings are really, really humble. Like really, really humble, man. We come from I got a picture of it right here. I can reach and grab, but we come from, we come from very humble beginnings, and this is God's. Like this, everybody's been asking me, and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be there at your ordination." But this is just another testament to God's power, God's strength. Um, Him showing you, like, look what I can take out of this situation and place here for my glory and for my work to be done. God is ever so present in all of our lives. And if He chooses me to stand as a representation of that, I owe Him that, right? Um, I sit in the eve of my ordination, just looking back on life and everything, in my opinion, is leading up to this moment. It's like, okay, you've earned your stripes to prepare for war. You've been through some battles. You've overcome those battles, those hurdles. I even threw a curveball 2 weeks out before the war. But you see, the work starts now. You have the power and authority that I've instilled in you to now marry, bury, and baptize. The enemy don't like that. The enemy don't want you to bring souls to Christ. It's one thing when you just preach about it, when you just talk about it, but you can now bring a union together, a covenant under God. You can now baptize and bring souls to Christ. This ordination is a cleansing of myself. And when I'm charged with these words that I'll be charged with on Friday, I will die on those words and my promise to God. So on the eve of the ordination, it's going to be just like every other day for me because I live my life in His hands. I don't have anything else. If I didn't have God, I wouldn't be here. I mean, literally, right? None of us
Right.
be here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm gonna probably be nervous, but I'm gonna be excited to see a lot of my family, my friends, my loved ones. You know what? I'm gonna leave this with you. I don't really call a lot of people friends. And I grew up this way. Because if you're close enough for me to have that relationship with you, we family. I don't have any friends. Friends come and go. I understand that. And also when people say friends come and go, families forever, just being relatives, just being related by blood doesn't make you family. Right? So if we're close enough for me to love you and want to be around you all the time, we family.
Yeah.
We family. So I'm looking forward to seeing my family come Friday. People I haven't seen in a long time. Other than that, I'm ready to get to work.
Good. And I understand the family's not always blood. I daily miss the man that stepped into use the shoes of being a father.
Yes, sir.
I knew my biological father, um, but Andrew Brinkley, and it's not about me. I'm not even gonna get there, but I'm telling you
Yeah.
that man took a young man of 19 and 20 and carved him out. And I think of this man every day, but we're not going to get in that.
Oh no, listen, I always share because those people, Donnie Lee Butts, Donnie Lee Butts, Donnie Lee Butts. I don't know if Aunt Vary's going to show him this, and if you watching, just know I thank God for you, sir. I thank God for you. Everything that I've learned in life on a positive scale as a man, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to handle responsibilities and go to work and get prepared for your day and whatever life brings you. Um, Responsibility, accountability, all those things I learned from my uncle. He's not big in his spirituality, but he's always taught me from the young person do unto others. That was always what he told me. He said, I don't know much of the Bible, but I'm gonna tell you. He said, I read the Bible. He used to say, I read the Bible, but I read it in prison. But he used to always teach me to do unto others, and I thank God for him. I always call him my dad. I call him my father. I never met my biological father, and unfortunately, he passed away. For me to be able to have a conversation or sit down with him, I've forgiven him a long time ago. Who's too good to make mistakes, right?
Right, right.
But yeah, Uncle Donnie, man. Uncle Donnie, Dad, Pop, whatever you call him, that's my guy. That's
Yeah.
my
And we know Uncle Donnie through you too. So
yeah, that's my guy.
good.
That's my guy.
So I'm not going to ask this question because I just joked about it with you on Sunday from a conversation that we had. So
Ask
it's
anything.
gonna come out when it needs to come out.
Okay.
It's gonna come out when it needs to come out. So this is I have one question um to close out this um that kind of relates to the question I'm not asking in a way. Um, but you just recently turned 40.
My back
Uh,
hurt. As soon as you said that, my back started hurt.
and you're about to become an ordained um, reverend. I mean, you bought the word, and you got a unique style in bringing it, and it's always exciting to sit back and watch you bring it. I watch your every move, what you do, who you say it to, your delivery, and I couldn't be any more proud of my little brother when he's bringing the word and just how everybody gets it. So 40 years old, 2025, eve of your ordination. Um, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And before you answer, you can answer in any aspect of your life, whether it's minister, husband, uh, father, but in 5 years, one of the roles that you play, where do you find yourself? Because at some date, we may talk again like this, and I'll ask you that same question, and we'll grab another role. So we're going to give you 5 years in one of the roles that you play now. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a great question. That is a great question. Yeah, and my wife was going to laugh because we used to get in arguments, and she would always say, "You don't care about nothing." But I never really planned out, those things and actually sat down and thought about me in 5 years from now. Um, I will say this. I will say this, and it might be the cop out, but this is anybody who knows my heart knows that whatever God would have me to do, I'll be doing it at my best ability. Um, whether it is the music, it's ironically I keep getting booked for shows I haven't even recorded any music. And it's like I got more shows than I have songs this year alone.
Wow.
And and it's like God is whispering in my ear, I gave you a gift, not to bury it. I said it, anybody who preaches knows that sometimes, well, all the time, when you're preaching the word, you're typically preaching to yourself first. God has given you a word for you to grow in, therefore that you can receive it and give it to whoever needs it. Um, I said something at my wife's mental health event where other artists inspired me when I was going through hard times. So who am I to sit on the gift that God has given me when my music may just be what gets somebody through their hard times? So maybe in 5 years, I'll at least have my um foot down with some music recorded. Um, I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. The things that I've let people hear is just the beginning. If people only could hear what I have in the cut. Um, but I've been keeping it for a reason and purpose. Finances, I always place everybody else first because if everybody else is good, then I'm good. I'm comfortable. As long as my bills are paid, I'm great. Um, but in 5 years, if I can have two projects done at least, One of them is an album, and one of them is I guess you would call it a EP, not a LP, but it will be in relative to my life. One's gonna be really, really hip hop, but one's gonna be just everything that I've been through in life and lay it out for those individuals who've lived the same and can appreciate it. I know you can see the picture of Tupac behind
Yeah,
me.
I do.
Um, Somebody told me one time, and I didn't place this on myself. So if you watch and you can see this, these are your words regurgitated. But somebody said, my music is what Tupac would have been if he lived to be my age. And
Oh,
I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, there's a time and a point where we grow up and we don't have to talk about all the bad stuff. We can just focus on the positive stuff because we have a message to give back and a responsibility. So you cut all the fat out of Tupac's music. He was a leader. He was a revolutionary. He was very conscious. He was very intelligent, right? So you put those together and you have a phenomenal legendary artist like Tupac. I'm not comparing myself to Tupac by any means, but this is God's gift. So whatever God has for me, he has for me, and I know my God does amazing things, so I'll never put myself in a box. I
def-
am who I am.
definitely 100%. So, I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Um,
Always, man, for you always.
I, and I appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate it. So, all that may watch this before 7 o'clock on Friday, November the 7th, um, meet us at VLF. Here's a shameless plug, 435 Maryland Avenue, Essex, Maryland.
Get that word.
And um, share with me seeing this young man step into uh, his own, his own. Still goes back to that question that didn't get asked tonight, but it'll manifest itself soon, and then we'll speak to that one day.
Can I
But
can I do one thing?
yes, sir.
Of course, God first and foremost. My mom has done, everything that she's done for me to get to a point. I thank God for my wife who invited me to church. I wasn't even thinking about church. And she said, come on to my family's church, and the rest is history. But on this path of ordination, she stayed on me. She stayed on me. She stayed in my corner. Hey, you gonna get your classes done? I thank God for the rib that He's given me. And also my pastor and first lady, especially my first lady and my pastor, because there's been so many questions that I asked behind closed doors to Pastor Phil that people don't get a chance to ask. People ask me questions and get answers from me, not realizing that these are questions that I had asked him to get prepared for this, you know, this walk. Um, I thank God for his leadership. I thank God for his diligence, his patience with me and my sister, the Reverend Jacqueline Miller. We had a relationship, and before me and Pastor, we actually used to work at Bayview together, and I would just stop in and speak to her. But I want to thank her for being the big sister that I needed, right? Being tough on me, holding me accountable, and staying on Pastor to stay on me. So before we cut off, I just want to say I thank God for them, because it's a testament to their ministry,
Mhm.
right, and the work that they've done. So God bless them.
And I know all that to be true. And I know you do reach out to him behind closed doors, but we've had a couple occasions when it's just the three of us,
Hmm.
and the questions that we have and the answers that come from it. If people don't see our Bible study and know that what we call the after party, jokingly call the after party, depending on where it goes, sometimes we learn more at the after party than we
Absolutely,
do through Bible study.
absolutely.
So yeah, people need to get on board. They need to get on board. Um, Pastor Phil is a he's a flower in the midst of weeds.
Yes, Lord.
and
We
and I
pick
stay on them. I stay on them.
we pick with them, but
Yeah, yeah,
special,
yeah. I actually
special
I need to
man.
make a phone call and get on him now,
Special man.
but he is his heart's in the right place, and
Bless him.
he's
That's my dog.
he's come from a place of power, and so are you. So we're going to leave it at that. So again, I thank you, my brother. I know you're probably looking for something to eat.
Thank
I
you.
wish I could.
I'm gonna try to be good, not eating after 7 no more, man.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. Even with this, the work that's been done in my mouth, I didn't enjoy a meal. I'm glad I had a good meal yesterday. But I thank you again. We will be talking through the week, I know, but Friday night I'll be in the place and seeing you continue your faith walk. I appreciate it.
I
All
appreciate
right.
you. I love you, big dog.
Love you too, bro. So we're going to say good night to the soon to be Reverend Mishan Noble. And uh, if you see this, if you pay attention to this, spread this because the words that comes out of this young man's mouth, whether it's about God or life, they're words that make a difference. So we'll say good night for now, and we'll see you soon.
This earth, I lead this verse to let them know it's okay to share your scars, show your flaws, and bare your soul. I come from the struggle, but I feel was what I wrote. You now listening to the realest words sincerest ever spoke. Before I leave this earth, I lead this verse to let them know it's okay to share your scars, show your flaws, bare your soul. I come from the struggle, but I feel was what I wrote. You now listening to the realest